I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me.
You want a beer?
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
So what are we doing today?
So anyways, today we are here to talk about Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Star Wars story.
So we just watched it, and fair warning to you guys, everybody, it's Sunday. Everyone, you've had all weekend to watch this
Saturday.
video. Well, by the time this video's out, it should be Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
So you have all weekend to watch this, so fair warning. This is a spoiler-heavy review. If you have not seen Star Wars Rogue One, or Rogue One, a Star Wars story, whatever it's being called these days, get the hell out of here unless you just don't care, and I just kind of admire your balls.
Go see it.
Yes, go see it. So, right off the bat, Luis.
Yes.
What did you think?
I loved it.
I loved it too.
I loved it. I loved it so much more than Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah.
It was so much better than Force Awakens. Man, there's not enough good things I can say about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start. So, spoiler alert, everyone dies. I know I say that often enough in these videos when someone asks me, like, what happens in the movie, and the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, oh yeah, everyone dies. This movie, literally everyone dies.
So if you have that one asshole friend and you go up to him like, oh, I haven't seen the movie yet, man, so don't spoil it. It's like, everybody dies, man. Just kidding, bro. Just kidding. Punch
He's
that dude in the
being
face because he's being serious.
For the first
Yeah.
time, he's being serious.
Yeah, and that's one thing I really appreciate about this movie is that you mentioned it before we started recording, is that this movie has balls. And I really liked it. Unlike The Force Awakens, what we got last year, it was not edgy. It was it was on the safe side. Really.
It felt like a very neutered product. It didn't have a lot of it didn't hit very hard. It was a very nostalgic movie for the sake of nostalgia.
Yes.
So that's kind of why it felt forced. This movie, at no point in time to me did it feel forced. Everything kind of was like, this is happening, and one of the things that I've noticed that people were saying was that it felt like there was a lot going on. I mean, I felt that it helped in that it made everything feel a little more frantic, because that's how war is.
Yeah.
This is a war movie. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. This is not like a fun space adventure movie. This is a war film in space.
Yeah. I think our friend Bryson pointed out perfectly last night. He's like, dude, this is Saving Private Ryan meets Star Wars. And that's, when I came out of the movie theater, I was like, yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. It was like a little bit of heist movie / like war movie. I think more war than anything. But overall, this movie...
And honestly, it's Maz Mikkelsen over like fucking Matt Damon, dude.
Yeah. Oh, dude, fucking...
Because Matt Damon was just some dude that just got caught somewhere, you know? But like Maz Mikkelsen is the reason that Luke Skywalker was able to blow up the Death Star.
So easily, too. Which is so cool. That was like, it's like, hey... so the engineers of the Death Star really didn't make it that easy to kill the Death Star.
No, it wasn't a technical flaw on because of the ignorance of these engineers. It's because it was placed there.
Yeah, I think that was a good cleanup right there for the Star Wars saga, because I have remembered this all my life of me watching Star Wars since kindergarten. I remember, like, in middle school when I started growing this like smart-ass attitude, I was like, why was it so easy to blow up the Death Star? And thanks to Kevin Smith and Clerks, I made it that they brought up that subject too, and I was like, holy shit, I've been thinking this the whole time. After watching Rogue One, I was like, you guys
Galen
did
Erso.
not. Yeah,
Galen Erso's the reason why.
Shout out to you, bro.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these characters. From Jyn Erso to her father, played by Mads Mikkelsen. You also got Forrest Whitaker, Diego Luna, and you also got Ben, which I cannot remember his last name, but he played Krennic. I gotta remember that name. And yeah, I thought these performances were great, man.
Yeah. Everybody felt utilized. Everyone felt organic to the story. I liked the relationships that these characters kind of had to forge.
Oh, yeah.
You know, very, very quickly. But as is war. Like war makes you, you know, become friends with the people that you're with, and makes you care about them as soldiers and as family. And I think that's one of the things that this film has, is it has very good chemistry between characters. You know, with Diego Luna's Captain Cassian Andor, which that character was so cool because he was a character that did what needed to be done. And that's something that you don't see often enough in these Star Wars movies, because, you know, they're a little more they're definitely geared more towards kids. You know, everybody wants to be, you know, Kylo Ren for Halloween. You got all these little kids with, you know, with Rey and Finn and all that. But this movie was gritty. It was what happens during war. Like war, no matter what galaxy it's in, it's a fucked up thing. And this movie definitely showed that.
It's actually very mature. Probably the most mature Star Wars film we have seen. Probably since Empire Strikes Back, dare I say?
Yes.
It's very mature. It's grounded. It's very grounded, and it's heavily dark and gritty is not really what I'm looking for. I just want to say I think edgy. Yeah. It's ballsy, very ballsy. It's very bold. As with all these characters, what I really enjoyed a lot was that. We mentioned that this movie's very grounded, it's probably really dark, but there was still a little bit of humor amongst these characters, like Donnie Yen's character and his homeboy, I forgot his name. Though that duo was really cool. Also, I think everyone's new favorite droid, K2SO, voiced by our boy Alan Tudyk. I think this was a solid squad as far as casting goes. I think this was a very, very solid squad. Excellent performances from everybody, from Forrest Whitaker to Mads Mikkelsen. Everybody was on point.
Okay, so if you're a fan of the extended universe, this movie definitely gives you a kind of like a sneak peek, the most that we've ever seen into the extended universe. This is a story sans Skywalkers. You know, there is 2 Skywalkers that show up in this film. You have Princess Leia, who's in this film. Again, spoiler alert, fuck you, like if we already told you in the beginning. She's in the beginning. And a la Patrick Stewart in X3, you know, like they digitally made her younger.
Yeah.
And Darth Vader's in it.
Yeah.
And it's
it was so great. Let's talk a little bit about these extended characters, whether they're CG characters or a full on Vader suit, physical real Vader suit. Mm-hmm. I thought. You mentioned the X3 Patrick Stewart. Dude, I think this is probably the best rendering of a CG human character I have seen probably since Tron Legacy.
Yeah,
maybe,
with Jeff
Bridges, or maybe even earlier than, or like more recent, Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War. I thought that was really, really good. The CG, Disney, and realize these are all Disney products we just mentioned. Yeah. Tron, Marvel, and now Star Wars. These are all, like, I'm kind of scared that Disney has this technology now. They're making these CG characters look realistic, especially with Tarkin. At first, I was like, oh yeah, because we started seeing the glass reflection, and then we started seeing his shoulders, and we started seeing his body.
Honestly, I didn't know how they were going to do it. Yeah. I thought maybe they were just going to keep it to that extent where you only saw him in glass or in reflection.
His voice.
Yeah, but they went full on, and I respect them for it.
I thought it was great. I mean, like, at first, like, I'm like, oh shit, that dude looks a lot like Peter Cushing. Yeah. But then I'm like, no, that's CG. I can tell, like, you can tell, like, very, very little bit from the eyes and maybe a little bit of the ears, the mouth movement when he's talking. I think the CG on Leia was actually really good. Yeah. For those 5 seconds we saw her, I think that was, like, on point. Also, like I said, we talked about some physical characters that have made their appearance since the prequels. We just mentioned Darth Vader. It was so good seeing or hearing James Earl Jones back in the mix as Vader. That was really cool. Can we talk a little bit about Vader?
Yeah. Oh man, this movie does something that that the prequels failed to do really, really badly. Is it makes you fear Vader. Vader is back on his 100%, like, I'm the most terrifying presence in the galaxy. And that's amazing. Yeah. There's a scene where he shows up and it's a dark hallway and everyone's like, you know, prepping and getting ready because something's gonna come through, and all you hear is his breath, and then a red light from the lightsaber, and it illuminates the whole thing. And then you're in that moment, you're legitimately like afraid for every single rebel soldier in that hallway, because you're just like, oh, they're all gonna die.
Oh yeah, that I 100% agree with you on that. I thought that was terrifying. It was so awesome at the same time. The music, wasn't really a big fan of the music in this movie, but I did specifically remember that scene in the hallway with Vader. It was a little bit of, dare I say, like that hallway scene where Daredevil's just taking on a whole bunch of guys, but this time it was a one-way match of Vader just not annihilating that entire rebel.
Everyone. Everyone. But this movie does something really great in that it offers you fan service. It does a lot of fan service, and in a very esoteric way. Mm-hmm. So it offers a fan service in a very esoteric way, and what I mean by that is it really gives you these Easter eggs that realistically, unless you're a very, very huge Star Wars nerd, you'll gloss right over them. And it's nice too because we're not being force fed Han Solo, we're not being force fed Chewbacca or the Millennium Falcon. We do see R2D2 and C3PO.
Yeah.
But it's a glance, and they're not part of the story. They're not used to kind of sell us this product anymore. We're getting little things.
This movie did have member berries,
Yeah.
but not as much member berries as The Force Awakens did.
No.
Like Force Awakens, they force fed you a whole bunch of like fan service and nostalgia.
Because the thing is that when we say member berries, at no point did somebody go member member this
Tarkin,
member Tarkin. It was like, this is who it is because it makes sense that this is who it is.
Exactly. There's a reason why they're bringing back these characters onto this film, and it makes perfect sense.
So let's talk about the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Blue milk shows up. If you don't know what we're talking about, Episode 4, New Hope.
Yeah.
Luke is drinking it in the very beginning when he's hanging out with his aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
Blue milk is in.
Who was drinking it in this one though?
It was Galen Erso and his wife were they were in the
right.
kitchen,
That's
and
right.
they brought out the blue milk. We had
which I've tried actually in my life.
Yeah. So
good for the bones.
The Star Wars the Rebel fleet shows up.
Oh man, that was so awesome.
And we have red and gold leader from New Hope.
Yeah.
We see them and I flip the fuck out. I was like, look, dude, it's red leader and gold leader. And then Biggs Dark Lighter shows up.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was so freaking cool, man.
Yeah, see, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, Biggs Darklighter by no means is a very popular character in Star Wars. But if like I said, if you're a nerd and you grew up with Star Wars the way we did, I saw Biggs Darklighter and flipped the fuck out. I honestly did. There's no other way I can put it. I was super excited.
Like I said, there's plenty of fan service that you can see in this film, and that's good. And there's nostalgia there as well, but I don't think it's like force-fed or shoehorned as we saw previously in The Force Awakens.
Yeah, it never feels like the fan service is a driving factor in the story.
Absolutely.
These are just things that kind of happen. We had the original Red 5 get blown up.
Oh yeah.
Meaning that there is an opening for a new Red 5, and who's Red 5 in New Hope?
Your boy.
One Luke Skywalker.
There you go. And well, you mentioned about the Rebel fleet. I really love the scene where can I just say that this is probably one of the best space battles, not in-planet battles, like space battles that we have seen possibly, I want to say, since Return of the Jedi. Since Lando took over the Millennium Falcon and you have Admiral Akbar, I think this is probably one of the best space battles we have seen. There's plenty of action in this movie already, but that space battle, by God, that was great.
It was tense. It was hard hitting.
Mm-hmm.
The whole the innovation that comes from being in war and having to figure out a way out. They depower, they blow the engines on one of the Star Destroyers, and then they use a Rebel ship to push one Star Destroyer into another Star Destroyer, and it cuts it in half.
So awesome.
And then those two crash into the shield generator.
So awesome.
Man, when I tell you that was a great scene, that was a scene.
Yes. All right. So this was directed not by a George Lucas or a J.J. Abrams. This is directed by Gareth Edwards, a director that I feel like not too many people are very familiar with. If you saw Godzilla 2 years ago in 2014, I'm a fan of that film. Didn't get a whole big appraisal from the critics, but I thought that movie was very awesome. I saw a lot of potential in this director. I was very intrigued when I heard that he's going to be taking over for this Star Wars spin-off film. And I got to say, I think he nailed it. I think he did a great job. I never thought that he would be able to direct possibly one of the greatest Star Wars films that we have seen ever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to just be that bold. Like, this movie was so great, and I got to give a shout-out to Gareth Edwards for doing that.
This is the 8th time that we've seen Star Wars on the big screen.
Yeah.
And it's honestly probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
It's a great film. It's a great war movie for what it is. Maybe it might not be the best Star Wars film, but it's definitely a great war film within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing that you can say for Ant-Man, where Ant-Man might not be the best superhero movie in the MCU, but it's definitely a great heist film when you look at it like that.
Absolutely. Of course. I mean, like, you got that factor, like we've mentioned earlier, like it's Saving Private Ryan meets Star Wars, or heist/war film. Like, it's absolutely, I mean, if you were to take out Darth Vader, if you were to take out Star Destroyers or blasters, you would still, and replace it with actual, like, human Earth technology, you still would have had a great war film already there. But the fact that this exists in the Star Wars universe probably makes it 10 times more exciting.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. It's a just a cool ass film, dude.
Yeah.
Watch it and enjoy it, because I mean, it sucked me in. It sucked me in like every Star Wars film that I've ever seen. The good ones at least, suck you in and make you part of this universe. This one definitely did that too. Now,
we mentioned earlier that, like, you know, a lot of people, including ourselves, we already did it earlier today, that you're going to compare this immediately to The Force Awakens, because that's like the most recent one that just came out. I don't remember the exact score that I gave to Force Awakens. I think it was like a 3 out of 5, or probably a 3 point something. This is going to get a higher score than that for sure. Probably not just because of the fact that it's more mature, it's not because it's more grounded, just the fact that it's an overall better film.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a better film. It was a better final product. I think with The Force Awakens, they just played it way too safe on that. It was, you know, I mean, The Force Awakens, don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's just not what I was expecting. This, like I told Luis earlier before we started recording this, I wish this Rogue One would have came out last year, and then Force Awakens could have come out this year. That way, you know, like when Rogue One came out in 2015, I'm like, oh, dude, this is the first Star Wars movie that we have had since Return of the Jedi, or at least the prequels, at least. And then I was like, oh, man, I'm so excited. It's off to a great start. And then Force Awakens would have come out this year, and we'd be like, you know what? It's not as awesome as Rogue One, but hey, you know what? It's not bad. I can't wait. Bring it on. We got more Star Wars movies on the way. Let's get them to it. I'm down. I'm all in for it.
And the great thing is that this movie literally ends at the beginning of New Hope.
Like, literally.
Like
2 minutes before the New Hope.
You see the Rebel blockade runner disengage, and it shoots off into hyperspace,
man.
and you're just like, oh, that Star Destroyer is going to follow it.
Yeah.
And it's going to take those plans.
And Vader is there right there.
Yep.
Oh, man, that was so great.
That was crazy.
I was not expecting that. I seriously walked into the movie theater because I tried not to dive too much into this movie because I want to get a little surprised, especially when it comes to Star Wars. I walked in, I was like, yeah, I think this movie takes place like 10 years probably before New Hope or something like that.
Right
I was
away.
Dead
10
wrong.
minutes.
I was dead wrong.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And then we got to see Vader's house.
Oh, that was awesome. That was so cool.
We get to see where Vader lives.
And where he showers, too.
Yes.
Butt naked.
Yes. It's a cool-ass movie, man.
Yeah.
It's a cool-ass movie.
It's really good. You know what? Like, I will be honest, with The Force Awakens, kind of, sort of, not brought me down, just kind of lowered my expectations on what to see for future Star Wars films. And I am so damn happy that I got this reaction off of Rogue One, because it kind of restored my hope for more awesome and cooler Star Wars movies.
It gave me a new hope. and rebellions are based on hope.
Yes. And I think everyone's new favorite droid, TKSO, or K2SO. I'm still kind of remembering. I just saw this movie last night. I got to memorize all these names now.
That fucking robot died, and it was sad, dude.
It was great. That's another thing I want to talk about too. How, like, everyone died. Another reason why we're saying that this movie's ballsy, because everyone's like, oh man, like Disney's just like, oh, it's Disney. Probably everyone's gonna live.
Everyone squad dies, and you care every single time someone dies.
Like Diego Luna and Felicity Jones died in a nuclear blast, pretty much. And was just like, wow, I was not expecting that. I seriously thought, I mean, I knew that everyone's gonna die eventually, but I didn't think they were going to show it to us.
No.
But I got to talk a little bit about the trailers for this movie, which is bringing me to a new point that I failed to write down.
They deviate.
This movie, when I was watching the trailers for this, I was looking at a different movie than what we got. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Sure, there was a part in the third act where I was just like, oh, this is probably where the reshoots happen. I can tell. No big deal. It's not bad. I mean, a lot of movies get reshoots a lot. It's normal these days.
This is the rare time where one of the where we knew that there was a reshoot and the movie it seemingly didn't suffer from the reshoots.
There's also one thing that I really did not like about the trailers, where the part where Felicity Jones was like, this is rebellion, isn't it? I rebel. So glad that was not in the movie. And what was so cool, one thing I learned about this morning was that the scene in the trailer where she's walking the path and a TIE fighter just pulls up, that did not happen in the movie. Not. So the reason why that happened is because originally they were going to have the TIE fighter pull up in front of Felicity Jones and an X-Wing blows it up out of the sky. But the filmmakers thought that they already did that when Homeboy launches a rocket to the AT-AT. And it was about to destroy that dude, but an X-Wing shows up,
swoops up and blows it.
So they didn't really want to do that again, hence why they cut off that TIE fighter scene.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool, and like I said, it kind of felt like a different movie compared to the movie trailers, but it's not a bad thing at all.
Now, to say that, we say that to say this, it would be cool if we got a recut, maybe 15, 20 years, we get a director's cut of the original cut and see how that is. It might be better. That's the crazy shit. Like, we got a good film, and we might get a better film later on.
That's so awesome. Damn, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so we might get that. So, check that out in a few years.
Absolutely.
We never know.
All right. So, one thing I talked to Luis about before we started, because we're all excited. We're like, oh my God, did you say hi? I was like, hi. So, one thing I want to talk about is the Star Wars saga, the upcoming saga that we're about to get for like the next 10 to 20 years. All right, so I'm glad that they're continuing the episodic films. You got your episode 7, 8, and 9s coming out soon. Probably even more than that. Who knows? I'm glad that they're doing spin-offs because I would love to see who does not want to dive deeper into this universe, I'm glad that they're doing these movies already because we're about to get the Han Solo movie. Honestly, I didn't really care about a Han Solo movie, but this gives me hope that this Han Solo movie might be a different film that we're going to be getting from the episodic films. However, I'm glad that they're getting this stuff out of the way. Now, I think this is a great opportunity for Disney and Star Wars to now start diving into the universe even deeper now by introducing characters that are no way, shape, or form affiliated with your Han Solos, with your Skywalkers, with your probably Imperial, because the Empire is kind of a big deal. But like, if they can start bringing us some new blood into this series, that'd be really cool. As far as like new characters, there's so much opportunity for Star Wars and Disney in general just to introduce new characters and new planets, new worlds. Like, it's cool. Like, yeah, we got the fan service and we got the nostalgia in these recent films, and we're probably going to get the same thing in Han Solo. But now it's, like I said, great opportunity to start something new with future films.
Yeah, because like we said, they don't have to bind themselves to the story that follows the Skywalkers and the Solos. Like, we don't have to do that. There's an enormous universe that exists in that universe itself. And it's so big and expansive that you literally can just start making a film about a bounty hunter, or a film about a smuggler, or a film about, some planet and what's going on and how it ties into that universe.
Yeah.
We can get a Jabba the Hutt movie about, how him, rules the fucking galaxy.
Yeah.
Or we could finally get Shadows of the Empire. Woo! Knock, knock. Fucking hint, hint. So, there's so much stuff that we might get a Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh man,
think about how great
Disney, Star Wars, give us more.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
We can have that done.
Yes,
it's gonna be great. It's coming.
Yes.
Because Disney is Disney is smart when it comes to its franchises.
Hell yeah.
So
hell yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad they're getting this stuff out of the way first. That way, it gives us an opportunity to just start giving us something fresh, something
we
new.
needed Rogue One. We needed Rogue One to be good, so that way Disney has the confirmation that, one, will show up for these movies, and two, they can be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that gives me hope.
We needed this to succeed,
yeah,
so that Star Wars can live on and be as expansive and as good of a cinematic universe as we want it to be.
For instance, just like how I said, a perfect example for that. Before watching Rogue One, I could have given two shits about the Han Solo movie. I was like, why are they making a Han Solo? I just don't care. It's like, yeah, it's got Donald Glover. Cool, as Lando. Hey, that sounds awesome. That sounds perfect. But at the end, I still don't care about this movie. Watching Rogue One, I walked out, I was like, bring me Han Solo, bring me a Leia movie, bring me everything. I don't care. As long as you're still delivering new movies, like something that has nothing to do, like I said, with your Skywalkers, with your Vaders, with everything. Just bring us some stuff, some new, and it's exciting times. Like I said, this is exciting times that we're living in right now.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So okay. So final thoughts. How would you rate this movie,
dude? Like, I want to go. Like I said, we've been praising the fuck out of this movie, and it deserves it. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna get a better score than Force Awakens. It's gonna get probably one of the best scores. But the only thing is, because I am a score junkie, I love music in movies. Like, I was very intrigued to hear that this is going to be the first Star Wars movie not scored by John Williams. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, that sounds really cool. Especially when we didn't even get the opening crawl in the beginning of Rogue One. I was like, that's where I realized, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be a different movie. Yeah. This may not even be a Star Wars type of movie. This might be its own thing, which I encourage. I encourage, especially with these big-ass franchises such as Star Wars. So I was excited to hear that there's going to be a new composer. I don't want to give him shit, because I read that he only had 4 weeks to prep to make the music for this, because they had one composer, they gave him the boot, they hired on this new guy. The only problem is he had a month to compose the music for it. I thought the music was okay. There's nothing, obviously there's nothing that you're going to remember. You don't have your Imperial March or anything from the prequels, which is fine. That's like I said, this is its own movie. However, I was expecting a little bit more. I just felt like it was really rushed. It was really kind of just boring. You know, like there was like not a music tone that really just hit hard. That's a key factor for me, because if I'm seeing if it's got the Star Wars name on it, I'm expecting some pretty good music in it. So I mean, that's probably my biggest beef. There's the whole Saw Gerrera thing that, like, you know, I understand, like, he's canon with it, but if I had no idea who Saw Gerrera is, I would have thought immediately at first, I was like, oh, is he the villain of this movie? He's like, okay. Oh, no, he's not. He's the dude that, okay, cool, I got it now. I got that. So that's probably it. But these things that I'm talking about right now, it's entering nitpicking territory. So it's not really like, it's nothing bad. It's not going to affect the score. In fact, I'm going 4.95. Probably because just the music and, you know, that's about it. It's a pretty movie. Very beautiful. Like, it's very beautiful.
The scene where the Death Star comes out of hyperdrive, and you just see it loom on from the horizon.
Yeah. It was a very beautiful. Another reason why I want to give a shout out to Gareth Edwards and his director of cinematography. Dude, this is a beautiful movie. Very, very, very beautiful movie. Like I said, I'm not saying it's because of Star Wars. It's just a great, well-developed film in general. Like, this is not a Star Wars movie. It's just a Star Wars film. You know, it's like, it's fucking great. So that's my score. What about yours, man?
I would this film. If this film was a spaceship, it could probably do the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. That's how I would rate it. You know, it would definitely run the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
Damn.
It probably maybe less, but it was that good. So check it out. It's definitely one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Which brings me to my next question. Where would you rank this in your Star Wars movies?
Between 2 or 3.
Between 2 and 3?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying like
4 or 5.
No, I'm saying 1 is still Empire, and then it would either be 2nd or 3rd place.
That's where I would go too. I was gonna say 1 Empire, 2.
Between Jedi and Rogue One.
I was going to say A New Hope and Rogue One, and then Jedi, and then Force Awakens. But damn, dude, that's a tough one, though, because Rogue One is very
I liked
good.
Rogue One better than New Hope. So mine would honestly probably go Empire, Rogue One, New Hope, Jedi, and then Force Awakens, and then Sith, Menace, and Clones.
All right, I get it. Yeah, I wasn't expecting prequel talk here. But that's cool, though. But, hey, that's another thing we're going to talk about. I like the fact that they acknowledge the prequels, but in, like, you know, like, we saw Jimmy Smits, and that's cool. Another fan service thing. It's like, hey, look, remember Jimmy Smits? Remember Jimmy Smits?
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool. And, you know, we saw Mustafar, Vader's territory, his hood. Yeah. You know, that was cool. But, yeah. I mean, like I said, I praise this movie a lot. It's got, like I said, it's just probably the music. I mean, I'm a big music lover when it comes to films, not movies, like films. Like, I'm praising this as a film. You know, this is not like, you know, some summer blockbuster movie that we've seen. You know, this is a film. And in order for it to be a film, it's got to have some great music. And there was just not any musical tone that just hit me hard. Like, but then again, I understand because the dude had 4 weeks, and 4 weeks is just not enough time to prep up some John Williams or your own thing. You know?
Shit,
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's my score.
But yeah, so definitely check it out. Watch Rogue One. You know, if you're a fan of Star Wars, you'll definitely appreciate, you know, what they did. If you don't, then, you know, you didn't, and cool, you know.
Yeah.
But this is our personal opinion, and we're I'm a tiny little bit biased because I am a Star Wars fan, and this is the first Star Wars movie that I've really, 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 really just enjoyed almost on all aspects since
Damn.
since fucking 96.
Yeah, seriously.
You know,
Yeah.
96, 97, like it's been 20 years.
Yeah, I wasn't even this excited during the Revenge of the Sith. Or
I was
any
this
of the-
excited prior to Force Awakens, but not post Force Awakens.
Exactly, like I said.
So yeah, this is the best. This is the best that I felt being a Star Wars fan in 20 years.
Oh yeah,
So you know, take that for what it is.
That's deep. I'm taking it right here.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that is our spoiler review for Rogue One. Let us know, did we miss anything? Or what were your favorite parts from Rogue One? And where would you hold Rogue One, a Star Wars story, within your favorite Star Wars movies? We just told you ours. So that is it. If you like this video, check out the rest of our videos. And while you're at it,
and subscribe. It's somewhere down here.
Somewhere down here. Somewhere down here. All right, so that's it. We hope you guys have a good one. Enjoy Rogue One. I'm sure you've seen it. Go see it again. It's fucking great.
I'm about to go see it again.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, check it out.
For sure. All right, so we're out of here. That's Luis. I'm Phil. And this is Axial Skeleton. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay focused, stay sharp, and Axial on.